Hey everybody, how's it going? So in the last month or so, I've actually been doing a lot more live streaming and static video than I've done in the past, mostly live streaming. And as I've been doing that, I've been getting adjusted to this new space that I'm in, which is the shed here in my backyard. You've probably seen some of my other videos or even me talking about it. This is an 8x10 shed that I built specifically to be my studio in my office. And I brought everything from the house that I had out, so I haven't really changed much in here other than a light that I have back here. I'll talk about that in another video. So in the process of being in this space, I've actually had people asking me what my equipment looks like. I'm sure many people are still trying to figure out what kind of equipment or things to buy or even to spec out to have good quality video. Now, I'm not going to say that my quality is really great here, but I'm using some good software. I like Ecamm Live, and I'll talk about that in another video. But I thought I would start off a small series here on YouTube with either gear that I already have that I'm using or new gear that I'm getting to try to up my game a little bit. Now, I should caveat this by saying that you don't need to buy a lot of expensive equipment or any real equipment at all. There's a lot of tiers. If you check out livestreamingpros.com, they actually have a really good gear guide and kind of their leveling system for how they describe doing live streams and the different types of technology that makes sense at each level. I think I'm at level like 2 or 3, but it's not a good or bad. It's the type of outputs you want to create and the tools that you're going to use. I'm a firm believer that tools are fantastic to support a process. You always have to have the right tools to support the thing that you want to get done. Tools are also not important at all because you should be able to interchange them whenever. So investing lots of money up front is probably not the right way to go because you want to get this flow build. Today's video, though, what I really want to talk about is a new piece of gear I just picked up. It arrived a few days ago, and I'm like super jazzed to get it incorporated. I got a brand new camera. I am so excited. This is the Sony a5100. It's a mirrorless camera, recommended by a number of people across the board as a good budget camera to use for live streaming. So it's going to replace this camera I have here, and I'll tell you about that one in a moment. So let's open the box and see what we've got. I actually took some of the tape off this just to make the video recording go a little bit smoother. So open the thing up, and inside, I think this actually came from a third-party retailer, not Sony directly necessarily, or at least a third-party marketplace, which is totally fine. Just the characters and the language on the box are not defaulting to English like I'm in the States, which is totally fine. And yeah, it is a third party. There's a little thank you card from this company right inside the box. So open it up, take a quick look. There's some little cubbies inside with the products. I'll take them out one by one and show you what it comes with and kind of explain what my next steps with this is going to be. So first thing looks like there is a safety strap. I guess that's what you would call the thing you put over your wrist while you're carrying the camera around. I'm probably never going to use this myself simply because this camera is going to go into a tripod back behind my display here in the office and will just be a live streaming camera I use in that place. Unless I need to move it around to do some sort of studio work, it's going to stay there. So this probably won't ever be necessary for me. Next up, simple stuff. Oh, yeah. So battery, came in a little package. There's the camera battery, pretty standard. Put that down. Also, look at the charging station. Okay, this is a little interesting. I'm very used to, on like DSLRs, the little charging base here. This one actually have the power on it, being something that the battery like physically plugs into. And this is different. I think there's a USB cable. Okay, so it came with a micro USB cable as well. And since there's no port on the battery for it, I'm assuming, we'll look in a second, this probably plugs into the camera. So in this case, I think what happens is you probably put the battery into the camera, then the USB cable plugs into this base in the wall, and you plug that in the camera and it charges the battery, which is totally fine. Everything I read about this camera says that you can get on these batteries 30 to 60 minutes, I think up to maybe 90, depending on what sort of use you're getting out of it before the battery dies. I'm going to be doing live streaming, so for now, probably the next week or two, I'll be using just the battery fully charged and just monitor that. I'm going to buy, I don't know what they're called, but it's a replacement to this where it plugs in, and then it looks like a battery, plugs in the battery slot, and it has some cords that come off at their USB to plug into the wall and run direct power to the camera, so I never have to worry about the battery running out. Whenever I get that, I'll show you guys in another video. All right, here it is. Yay, it's so pretty. It's all white. There was a couple different colors available. I only comment on that because I don't typically buy anything other than what the default is, which is usually like a black housing. I think most DSLRs are that way. I happened to see this in this variant, and I thought that just looked kind of clean. And really the reason I got it is because this was available in like 4 days of shipping, and the black one was available in like 14 days, and I wanted it sooner, so I picked this one. But yeah, it looks great. I got it with the kit lens, so it's what the default lens is. I've heard a lot of things about some Sigma lenses and others that can really up the game on the video quality, but I think by going to this by itself with a kit lens to replace the Logitech Brio 4K that I have now, and I'll talk about that in another video in more detail, but I think this is just going to up my game a lot on the video quality, so I'm not too stressed about it right now, but really excited. One of the reasons, I'll show you guys this, some of the basic controls on top, as you would expect, like any other DSLR, on and off switches, some menu controlling here on the back. It's pretty straightforward. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that, but the thing I am excited about is I've never had a camera that had one of these. So you've seen those like pop-out screens that you can see what you're doing with the camera when you're using it. This one happens to have one that flips up, which I'm really excited about. And here's why. It's going to go on a tripod, basically like this, looking at me. So I'll be looking here at the lens when I'm doing live streaming, obviously. This is going to be sort of a confidence screen for me, so I can know what I look like on camera. So I always know if I'm centered or moving around too much or what have you. I have that now with Ecamm Live, which is my recording software. It's on the webcam I'm using is sitting on top of a screen, and so the Ecamm Live sort of visual is right below that. There's two problems with that. One, it sits right below it, so I have to always look down to make sure that I'm centered properly. So right now you can see my eyes are not on the camera, which is not great. And two, it's kind of distracting because it's below the camera, so I'm always seeing myself about 6 inches below this camera, and it's distracting. So really distracting. So what I'm hoping for the time being is to use this little screen as just a place where I can see myself, and it doesn't look like I'm looking off lens too much. So that's the Sony a5100. I'm really excited. I'm going to get this thing connected here soon. I also did buy, I'm going to do a separate video on, and I need it for this camera, specifically with Ecamm, is a... it is called, what is the name for it? It's called an HDMI, I have it over here. I'll do a different video on it. I can't think of the name. It's basically an HDMI connector that goes into USB, so you can plug it into your laptop. I'll think of the name another time. I don't know why I'm blanking on it. In any case, a capture card, an HDMI capture card. So I got one of those. I'm going to do another video that talks about that, and it'll be a shorter video. But yeah, this is my Sony. I have it. I'll get this thing charged up later today and get it hooked up to my tripod. And then I'm going to get the capture card going after a quick video on that, and then hopefully I'll have some new visuals to look at, which will be pretty rad. Thanks, everybody. Oh, by the way, I would love a subscribe. I'm going to start doing more of these sorts of videos about the gear that I have and kind of how to do this setup on a regular basis as I kind of build out kind of a rebrand on this channel a little bit and talk a bit more about how to use these sorts of technologies. If you're in the tech industry and you're trying to adapt yourself to this new reality that we all live in, and you're trying to really embrace that and kind of own yourself and give yourself permission, I'm focusing on people like that. So I'm going to be developing that concept out a lot more. And so the gear overview is really to help you all just have a slight guide to a path that you could go down for how to do video content and things like this. Anyways, if you like what I'm doing, please hit subscribe. Really helps the channel out. If you like the video, thumbs up or thumbs down. Either one's great. Preferably thumbs up, obviously, but I will take whatever you guys give. I love any feedback, any comments, any discussion or questions you have, or any input you have on the process that I'm going through. I'd love to hear it. Have a great night, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.